Risk of Rain came out in 2013 and it's widely regarded as a gem of a game. Its game loop was just pretty simple. Click character, click play, find items, experience musical PTSD, get clapped, run it back, repeat this for a concerning amount of time, wonder how your life got here. While the game was ultimately simple, it brought innovations to the roguelike space and the sheer amount of hours you could put into it was immense. There were so many items you could stack up for effects and there was no telling what kind of wacky bullshit you could pull off. The first few hours of the game go like this. See item? What this do? Meet God. But once you found out what the items did, you'd eventually turn the Geneva Convention into a Geneva suggestion. Then you had the interesting universe, iconic visuals, good music, and then BAM! That's a good game. And now let's fast forward to 2020. Everyone was having a grand old time. Nothing was going wrong. Then Hopu, after 7 years of brainless activity, was like, wait, before we begin, over there, a little, yeah, that thing, click it. While I was worried about the jump to 3D, Risk of Rain 2 stands to be one of my favorite games of all time, and I dare you to change my mind. Everything about this game is an improvement upon the formula, if we disregard the shoddy launch of the recent DLC. I mean, let's just start with the characters. You got the classics, you got newcomers, and you got Mecha Spider-Woman, yeah! Every character that appears in this game not only has a solid base kit, but also extra move options that really let you mess with their playstyles. Multi gets 2 primaries and can hold 2 different active items. Rex deals damage to itself to use abilities, but also gets the ability to heal on hit out the gate. Artificer is very much just a mage with cool floaty abilities, and Captain loses half his kit in some dimensions. I think the only one who pretty much plays one for one like you'd expect is Commando, which is fine because making Commando Baby's first character lets the player figure out the game before handling the unique mechanical BS of the rest of the cast. Then you got the items, which not only are there way more of them, but now also come in limited edition blue raspberry and grape soda flavor, all of which work differently than Risk of Rain 1's version of the item, so you'll yet again be in the what this do stage of the game. Outside of the classic tiers from the first game, the 2 new tiers of items are Lunar and Void. Lunar items are ones that give you usually powerful effects at the cost of a major downside. These can range from high damage at the cost of being atomized by a gust of wind, to drinking mystery performance fluids at the cost of withdrawals from said mystery fluids. Lord, I crave fluid. These are there to add some extra risk and reward to your reign. And seeing as you'll be in your what this do mindset at the start, you will likely break your run by picking up Ego. Then you got Void items, which replace another item in game permanently. You know when like a game gets remastered and then the game company just kind of removes the original? It's like that. You now get an item that works a lot like the original, but with a huge enough twist that you actually need to think about it. For example, the ATG launcher would normally give you a chance to shoot a high-power missile from your attacks, but if you pick up the Plimp, you get to shoot as much as you want as long as you have protection. Get your mind out of the gutter, you goon. These 2 new item tiers add an extra layer of build options on top of what's already possible with normal items, so you'll have no shortage of hours, I promise you. Not to mention, the game also offers numerous ways to replace and remove items. 3D printers are a feature that can take scrap or a random item of the same rarity and turn it into the item it's showing. This is a ludicrously potent machine, as it gives you the direct ability to turn what would otherwise be a dog water run into a US ballistic simulator. Stacking items is what creates a strong run. One item that gives you a chance to crit is not the same as 6 of those items, making it borderline guaranteed to crit. And being able to take complete garbage and throw it out for one of those items is just what makes it a whole lot better. Now, if you have a specific item you want removed, scrappers exist to do just that. Plop that item in and it will be turned into scrap that can be sacrificed in printers of the same rarity first instead of using a random item. This is useful if you actually have items in that rarity you want to keep instead of haphazardly throwing them into the printer and crossing your fingers. Then we got the shrines, which I'll just briskly run through for the sake of brevity. Shrine of Chance lets you gamble for the chance of up to 2 items. Shrine of Blood lets you pay health for more gambling money. Shrine of Combat spawns enemies so you can mug them for more gambling money. Shrine of Order lets you gamble by converting all of your items to an item you own for each tier. Altar of Gold takes your gambling money and lets you go to the magical golden land with a jolly giant. Shrine of Wood, it exists. And then the Halcyon Shrine takes money from you over time to charge it, where once it's charged spawns a bullet sponge. Defeating it spawns a portal to the alternate path and hands you an item that lets you take up to 3 items depending on whether you charged it fully or not. Or too long didn't listen, gambling. Now this may sound like easy breezy fun so far, but it wouldn't be Risk of Rain without experiencing a passionate kiss from death. The enemies in this game do not mess around. I've heard people say that the first game was harder, which, I fully agree. Monsoon in Risk of Rain 2 is Diet Rainstorm from Risk of Rain 1. I mean, I can pretty consistently leave Stage 1 in Risk of Rain 2, but in Risk of Rain 1, you're pretty much gambling not to die to complete bullshit. But that doesn't mean that Risk of Rain 2 is easy. This ain't Elmo's Number Journey. You can have all the items in the world, but there's very little that will stop these creatures from eventually turning your power trip into a trip to the infirmary. A major difficulty component is enemy strength and count increasing the longer you're playing, and with limited items on each stage, this means you really gotta haul that fat dumpy of yours to the teleporter. And I know the footage so far seems like I have a reasonable level of skill here, but for the record, here's all my recorded deaths at the same time. But, believe it or not, dying is part of the fun. In fact, that's the very reason I recommend turning on Monsoon. Any other difficulty makes the game pretty damn easy in my opinion, and if you won every single run, then you begin to ask what's even the point of playing. Meanwhile, Monsoon keeps the game a consistently fair difficulty that makes you play the game as intended instead of ignoring the timer, so trust me, Monsoon's correct. I think this version of Monsoon is actually a vast improvement, just due to the fact that the loss feels like your fault 9 times out of 10 instead of, oopsie, you didn't get the right items, shithead! And now for a transition that's as smooth as sandpaper, did you know this game has mod support? That's right, want to give this game more oomph than it already has? Mod it in! Fan-made expansion? Get it! Miss Enforcer as much as I do? Add them in. Wanna be a degenerate? I hope you stub your toe, but yes, there's mods for it. Wanna be a fully customizable tank with numerous interchangeable skills that greatly alter how the tank controls, which in of itself doesn't even control like a survivor? Someone made this. I am both impressed and very scared. The game itself doesn't even need mods for any reason, but the fact the modding community around this game is as big as it is means that you'll never find yourself in a shortage of any content. There'll be plenty for you to do. You think I'm done? Nah, cause we got the music. Come on, dude, this game's soundtrack is immaculate. I unironically listen to the soundtrack while driving out and about. It transcends the game. It's beyond good. It's electric. See what I did there? The tracks aren't just bangers, but they feel like they fit in with their environments and gives them that much more life. Like, let's just look at the stage of the final boss. Right. Okay, let's look at the stage of the OG final boss, like from the base game. You enter the stage, and the music starts with just a somber piano melody. The song almost sounds like it's mourning, as if someone has passed or is going to. As you explore, you notice that the place is kind of relatively empty, and sometimes you won't even see an enemy right away. And as the loneliness sets in, the track pulls this stunt. If you've played the first game, you know this song means business, but if you haven't, it still instills this weird uneasiness within you. Every song up until this point has been mostly sorta upbeat and spacey. To only hear a piano with a singular other instrument at this point naturally sets off the brain's uh-oh alarm. You start to feel dread, wondering what you've just walked into. Then it stops. And you know this shit's about to go hard. This? I dare you to find a better song. I double dare you. This is how you do a finale. This song sounds like a last stand, because it is, but it's not yours. It's the planet's. You're not the good guy here. Not even close. You just tore through an ecosystem over collecting magical teddy bears. You deserve the ass beating you're about to receive, and this is made even worse if you looped before coming here. This whole stage really sells that final level feel. I want to tell you what the boss does, but I don't want to spoil it for you, so instead I'm going to give you your future live reaction. Whew, man, that fight was... Once you fight him, you'll know exactly what part I predicted. Then you got the amazing visuals, unique locales, and some of the coolest lore I've ever seen in a game. Look, Risk of Rain 2 is a legendary experience that I'd recommend to anyone. In fact, I'm not even going to give you much more details. Go play it. This is something that you have to experience sort of blind to get the full effect, and while the latest expansion may have added new issues, a chunk of which are fixed, I still think the game stands as one of the better experiences I've ever had with a game. And I'm beyond confident that if you like roguelikes, this game is a no-brainer pickup. This has been The Bottom Dweller. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button, or don't. You do you, I'm not your mom.